friends got a story to tell about a young man folks thought they knew so well. Rumors, lies, and all things between. Yeah, they were blind to what they didn't want to see. You can't be a prophet in your own town. Can't climb a ladder when folks keep putting you down. No, you can't be a prophet in your hometown. Takes a bucket load of courage, leave the world behind, in a basket full of effort and a strong-willed mind. Despite the aspersions, he took a leap of faith, and he made his own way to a brand new place. No, you can't be a prophet in your hometown. Can't climb a ladder when the rumors keep bringing you down.
Today's show is sponsored by Farmer Joe's Fresh Market, located at 1401 Pine Island Road in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida. Farm fresh local fruits, vegetables, seafood, plus a fabulous butcher, bakery, amazing deli, everything you need and more. Lee County's greatest grocery store, Farmer Joe's. If you're in the market for custom marble, you need to call International Marble at 239-878-2200. They're locally owned and operated, serving the needs of Southwest Florida. Give them a call. That's International Marble, 239-878-2200, 239-878-2200. From the D.C. drama to the Florida front yards, two conservatives calling like it is. Welcome back to where the Main Street meets Pennsylvania Avenue. Ford O'Connell is with us. Y'all know him, attorney, political analyst, the man who can spot a rhino faster than the gator spots a tourist in flip-flops. You can find Ford on FordO'Connell.com, Ford on X, and you can see him on most credible news sources. I am Smokin Joe, and we want to welcome you to the Cracker Culture Podcast. So here we go again, another government shutdown. Ford at this point is less governance and more a group therapy session for people allergic to work. Every time they say we're close to a deal, it's like watching toddler promise to clean their room. Ford, tell me I'm wrong. Every few months they shut the lights off in Washington just to reboot the incompetence. It's like slapping an old TV and praying for a better picture.
Well, not only that, it's like the Democrats have become the worst theater kids on the face of the earth. What's shocking here is Donald Trump is offering them the same thing that Joe Biden offered the Republicans 13 times and accepted. It's not like the Republicans are trying to go for anything here. What the Democrats want is absolutely unreal. They want to spend another $1.5 trillion, $200 billion of which is going to go to fund healthcare for illegal aliens. I mean, right there, if anyone even understood the nonsense that's going on, this would already be over. But public opinion is on President Trump's side. 65% of Americans want to see the Democrats accept a clean CR, which is what Donald Trump is offering.
Well, and the thing of it is, you know, a lot of people are blaming the Trump administration, but the truth is, it's the Democrat. We've even got Democrats coming over on the Trump side. We just don't have enough of them. But, you know, talking about the Democrats that have come over, Fetterman, man, what in the world? I mean, it's like that stroke rewired him or something. He's more conservative than any Democrat we've got out there.
It's terrible to say, but I mean, one more medical mishap and the guy might be a full-blown Republican. At least he's got common sense now. He's not the only one who's jumped over. You've got the senator in Nevada who's come over as well. I mean, you just need 5 more. That's what's so amazing. The Democrats tried out this lie. Republicans control the White House. They control the House. They control the Senate. The problem is you need 60 votes in the Senate, and there are 60 Republicans in the Senate. So you're going to need some Democrats to come over. I think they're eventually going to come over, and the reason is this shutdown's costing us something like $15 billion a week, something like 0.1% on the GDP every week it's shut down. This can't continue because really this shutdown is hurting Main Street.
Right. Well, and you know, and I know like the military, I was really concerned with all this about the military not getting paid. Now, my understanding is before with like USAID and stuff, they could like get like a zero interest loans or something before that to do that. I mean, is our military going to be covered through this, Ford?
It depends on how long this goes on. President Trump has actually moved money over to pay the military for another week or two. And actually, you actually have Majority Leader Thune, who's trying to really put the Democrats on their heels by putting forth a bill in the Senate that says, let's fund the military for an entire year as we continue this shutdown. I mean, that's the beauty of it. The Democrats won't fund the military, which is absolutely shocking, particularly given where we are right now with what's going on in China, the Middle East, and with Russia.
Well, and I think the Democrats will, like you say, cave, because the longer this shutdown goes along, the more people can realize how many people we really don't need that are not essential in government. If we depleted some of the bloated staff that we have in government, that would help our bottom line immensely.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, at this point, the Trump administration's tried to lay off about 4,100 staffers, I mean, which is a drop in the bucket. People don't realize how many people work for the federal government. I mean, we're not even including the military. You're talking about millions. This is the world's largest employer, and I promise you it is bloated and there is way too much redundancy, and it needs to be scaled back because people think, the more money you throw at the federal government, the better it's going to get. It's not going to get any better. It needs to be scaled down to deliver more efficiently.
Well, I agree. The truth is the swamp doesn't drain during shutdowns. It just seems to stagnate.
Stagnate. It appears to actually overflow at the same time, too. It's like a hurricane in a swimming pool. I mean, this whole thing just needs to be drained, period, full stop.
I agree. Well, meanwhile, over in the land of moral theater, we got Governors Pritzker and Newsom that are attacking ICE again, calling federal immigration enforcement inhumane. Please, man. They're not fighting humanity. They're fighting for election 2028.
This is absolutely insane. You realize that assaults on ICE have gone up 1,000%? And people need to understand what a sanctuary city is. A sanctuary city says that the local and the state people aren't going to comply with ICE, meaning they're not going to tell them when they've got the criminals in the jail so that ICE can come and pick them up, or they're not going to tell them that they're in the courtroom. ICE doesn't want to go out in the communities. ICE wants to go to the courtrooms and the jails so that it's safer for the migrants, safer for the public, and safer for ICE. But somehow the Democrats have doubled down on stupidity.
Well, how you call yourself a law and order governor when you're ordering law to take the day off? I mean, these governors are out there trying to make sanctuary cities sound like sanctuaries when in reality they're just shelters for bad policy for them.
Well, this is the problem with progressives overall. They see the criminal as the victim and the victim as the criminal. I mean, this is exactly why Democrats are leading by 20 points on crime, because what the Democrats believe in is no law and complete disorder. It's absolutely insane. Why would you want your constituents or your citizens to be unsafe? It is the dumbest thing on the face of the earth. I mean, you're at a point now where Chicago is more dangerous than Baghdad. It is more dangerous than Afghanistan. We are talking about the United States of America, the wealthiest country in the world, and somehow you can't walk down Michigan Avenue in Chicago and be safe, all because Governor Pritzker, the fat one, wants to actually run for president of the United States if he doesn't eat himself to death before then.
Well, and I look back at Newsom. He's talking about trying California to concede and all that. What are they thinking? I mean, imagine that, California, and they no longer have the protection or the stability of the United States government. There's an issue going to happen there.
Well, since they're already in debt, I don't know exactly how they're going to, make themselves more efficient if they stand alone as their own country. Remember, I believe this, and you write this down, book it. Chances are Gavin Newsom's going to be the Democratic nominee in 2028. I have never seen a more slimy snake oil salesman than Gavin Newsom, but he's going to keep lying because you have to realize most people don't pay attention and they just assume, oh, you really actually want to keep your people safe. No, they actually want the third world to overrun California because they believe. This is the problem with progressives. They fundamentally believe America and the West are evil, and therefore they should be punished. And we need to blow up this democratic experiment so that we can have a benevolent dictator and socialist policies everywhere. It's absolute insanity, and they don't realize how great they got it.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like I said, And again, there's a lot of Democrats that are calling foul on what they're seeing with some of these governors now. And, it's good. I'm glad that some of them are waking up. But, I mean, it seems like it's a little too late in some cases.
It's very worrisome. I agree. I mean, never say too late, but I think you're right. I mean, the fact that this has been going on for decades and then the Democrats lie and say, we're not trying to give health care to illegal aliens. The worst part is they don't even want to deport illegal aliens that have been convicted of crimes or charged with crimes. I mean, at some point you have to say to yourself, who's funding this nonsense besides George Soros? Because apparently a lot of people want to see Western civilization in America destroyed.
Yeah, it is a sad situation. Well, Ford, here's one that you ain't going to hear on CNN. Trump quietly helped open diplomatic back channels during the Gaza ceasefire. And you know what? He's not getting credit for it. Not from the media, not from the left, and not even from some of the people on our own side. But it happened. It was Trump's deal.
Donald Trump accomplished basically the unthinkable. I mean, we've been talking about peace between Israel and Palestine at least since the 1940s, if not for the last 1,000 years. You have two real estate developers from New York, Donald Trump and Steve Witkoff, who did more for peace in the Middle East in the last 60 years than career diplomats. Think about that for a second. That's how insane this is. And it's such an incredible accomplishment that Pakistan, who just 10 years ago was harboring Osama bin Laden, put Donald Trump up for the 2026 Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, this is truly incredible. And now, what is it? He's brought peace to 8 different conflicts, and he's only been in office for 10 months? Unbelievable.
I just don't see how people can argue with his accomplishments. I mean, and again, I said before, if Trump personally cured cancer, the headline would be former reality TV host puts doctors out of work. I mean, it's just incredible how they won't give him the benefit for anything he's doing.
That's exactly right. What's even crazier is that Joe Biden woke up from his weekend at Barney's slumber and tried to take credit for the Israel-Gaza peace deal when it was this clown that caused October 7th. It is absolutely upside down, bizarro world. But I think what made Trump successful here is that he takes a different approach. He thinks outside the box, but he tried to explain to the Middle East, and he's got a lot of leverage on the Middle East today, particularly with Qatar and Saudi Arabia, is, hey, if you have peace, you're all going to make more money. It is absolutely amazing when he explains that, that safety and security leads to prosperity. And right now you got the Middle East buying in, and I got to say it's a great day.
Well, I want to talk about a little Trump deal that happened. I'm going to show you a little clip here right quick.
Mr. President, it has been reported that Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Let's go.
Now, Ford, look, when Trump dropped that F-bomb on TV, people was clutched their pearls like they'd never stubbed a toe before in their life. To me, it proves he is human. He's real. He's not some focus group robot pretending to care. I'll take a president who cusses out corruption over one who naps through it any day.
Hey, he talks and thinks like every American. We may not want to say it, but we're absolutely thinking it. And he certainly didn't have an F-bomb on a teleprompter. So you know what? God bless the man. I'm going to tell you something. When he's out of office, we're all going to be very bored, if nothing else. He is the most entertaining president ever. And I have a hard time believing that we're ever going to have one that's more entertaining. And he's keeping us safe, and he's trying to rebuild our economy. God bless the man.
Yeah, at least Trump's awake when he says the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'm still amazed. That's why I knew this Israeli Gaza thing was such a big deal, not only bringing home the hostages, but when you get Joe Biden calling in going, well, I'm glad that Donald Trump picked up the baton from what I did. The guy's like half dead, like a puppet. They're moving him around, and He's trying to take credit for everything. It's unbelievable. And on MSNBC, they begrudgingly had to admit that this is a pretty big freaking deal.
Yeah, I tell you, it's amazing. And you know, Joe Biden has no faults if you ask Joe Biden. He's never done anything wrong. Everything that's happened is an accomplishment for him. And you know, and you sat back and look, and even the things that he wasn't even a part of, he's still the one that accomplished it. It makes no sense.
Yeah, well, I will tell you that he can't remember anything because, first of all, he's comatose to begin with. So that's why, you know, he has no faults. And remember why Barack Obama picked him to be vice president, because you can't get any dumber than Joe. So it's very hard to be shown up. Well, Joe actually figured that out. I take that back. He actually got Kamala Harris, who's even dumber than Joe Biden. And what's even more amazing is Hakeem Jeffries, who's basically dime store Obama, and he's screwing up everything. And I tell you something, when the Republicans hold the House of Representatives in the 2026 midterms, that dude's going to be fired as the minority leader. I mean, talk about a weak sister DEI candidate who should be thrown under the bus.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even like listening to him or Raskin open their mouth. Either one, Jamie Raskin or Hakeem Jeffries, it's like taking a cheese grater to the side of my damn head when they
actually make Chuck Schumer palatable, and that guy is going nowhere because he's going to get crushed by AOC. But that's where we are today. They love socialism. They hate America. It is what it is. And I don't mean all Democrats. I just mean the elected officials.
Well, speaking of hating America, these so-called No Kings protests, which are going on all over today, and it's just a joke, Ford. Speaker Mike Johnson nailed it when he said they should be called the Hate America protest, because he's right. I mean, nobody up there is pro-America. Now, right now, I just seen a video of Pastor Ariel Martinez out, and here he's showing they're parading around with American flags like they're American, but there's nothing American about these people in these No Kings protests. Nothing.
I mean, this is where I tell you about the guys that you put in the trash can in high school. These are the people that engineer No Kings. You know, I'm actually hypothetically thinking about joining one of these protests just so I can get out there and yell, "Down with King Charles, down with King Abdullah," just so that they understand how stupid what they're doing is. But, you know, it's all about theater. And this is the other thing. It's like they don't know why they're protesting. Someone just sent them an email, and they're all going to show up and talk about this nonsense. And I promise you, if Jesse Waters or someone sat out there with a microphone and asked them, 3/4 of them would have no idea why they're there.
Well, these are the same folks screaming about oppression while using their iPhones and eating Chick-fil-A and live streaming the revolution on American servers. They're not oppressed. They're ungrateful. This is the only country where you can burn a flag safely, and the one that gives you the right to do it. That's not rebellion. That's irony with bad signage, Ford.
Well, not only can you burn a flag, you can then go to Chick-fil-A right afterwards as long as it's not on Sunday. I mean, people just don't understand it, how good we have it. We take it for granted. We are in the greatest time in the greatest country in the history of the earth, but somehow, you know, don't tell people that they got it real good. I promise you, if these guys had to go live in Iran for about 10 minutes and saw what real oppression is, they would stop the stupid oppression Olympics that they put on all the time.
Well, I agree with you. And I got to say this. If they think this country's so terrible, they're free to test that theory in Cuba or China or anywhere else that doesn't let you hashtag your outrage.
Well, or Venezuela, but if we keep blowing up drug boats, who knows what's going to happen there, right?
Yeah. Now, Ford, I also want to talk Trump commutes George Santos' sentence, and the media is acting like it's the end of civilization. But come on, compared to what's going on in D.C., Santos's fibs looks like a resume typo. If lying disqualified you from politics, the Capitol would be emptier than a CNN green room.
That's exactly right. I mean, look, George Santos, he's already been punished because he's been thrown out of Congress. When you've been defrauded by the frauds themselves in Congress, that's pretty freaking amazing. And frankly, the guy's going to go on probably to be a spokesperson for OnlyFans or something. But you know what? He was entertaining while he was there. He's done his time. Let's move on.
I hear you. Well, Ford, it's about time for
the man's trash.
The part was how they were saying, literally, a hurricane could take your home away, but the man's trash. I mean, that is unbelievable.
The man's trash.
Man's trash. I mean,
Now, Ford and Lee County parents are fuming because their kids are missing class time due to unreliable buses and a tracking app that couldn't find the bus if it was parked on their own driveway. Now, Chief Dave Newland said back in August, and I'm going to quote, every bus route is covered. Yes, maybe covered in fertilizer because it surely ain't working. Now, he did say that they had 0 vacancies and even having to turn down some applicants. I don't understand it, Ford. How do they keep doing this? And it goes back to saying you keep pissing on our back until it's raining, but we're out there. We see the storm. We know what's going on.
yeah, I don't understand this at all. And yet people keep lying and telling you everything's okay and to keep calm and carry on, but not so good, my friend.
Well, you know, when your kid gets home from school later than the bartender, it's not transportation, it's a sitcom. But
I don't understand this. I don't understand how you expect to deliver a great educational product if you can't get the people to and from school. It's mind-boggling to me. This is supposed to be the easiest thing possible, and yet we still can't do it.
well, you know, we went back and forth about this. We've talked about parents saying their kids are out at bus stops at 4:30 in the morning and there's no lighting and overgrown and stuff. You know, you can't go out here and brag that you've got certified teachers in every classroom and that you got fully staffed but you can't even get a bus to make it to the bus stop on time. Parents deserve better, and they deserve action, not excuses. And it's just high time that something changes with the school district in Lee County, both transportation and in the classroom.
You know, we talk about this all the time. Lee County spends some of the most money of any of the 67 counties in the state of Florida and delivers quite possibly one, if not the worst, educational product. It's absolute insanity that you have this much money. And again, you got to go back. It's our elected officials. How can you have such a terrible product all the time?
Yeah. And again, they do not listen. It's evident they do not listen to their constituents. These people from Alba have been there the people from Alba are working harder to stop this new high school than the district's working to put it in, because the district only meets once a month now, and the people from Alba, they're out there every time. They come in full force, all wearing red shirts and begging the district to put it in Lehigh where it's needed, not take away the royal beauty of the area out there. And it's a shame. You know, the district has failed us on a lot of stuff. And I want to tell you the one thing that I'll give Superintendent Carlin credit for is her seeking the termination of the teachers that spoke out against Charlie Kirk. Now, this is pretty serious. The Lee County School District released the records from the 3 teachers who mocked Charlie Kirk's death online. These weren't small comments. One posted that didn't sadden me in any way. Another said, choose violence. And another said, bye, Charlie, with fire emojis. The district confirmed it on September 11th. They had over 100 pages of investigative findings, and Superintendent Denise Carlin recommended termination for all 3. One quit, one moved out of state, and one's deciding whether to fight or not.
I don't understand. You know, I always tell people this. I mean, first of all, God bless the people of Alba for fighting back. Okay, they're great people. But when it comes to this, when you have teachers, tell me about the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. I don't want to hear about what politics you have, what your sexual orientation is. Just be a good teacher. And you got to realize that you're dealing with young minds. Whatever you say is going to be magnified. I just don't understand why people have such Trump derangement syndrome that they've got to go on a spree of just spewing whatever. And you know what? You're absolutely right. Good on the superintendent for actually, holding these three to account.
Yeah, well, Ford, I've said all along, if somebody, you can't take away the good because you got to give them credit when they do something right. And I'll absolutely, there's the first thing I can think of I can give Superintendent Carlin credit for is moving to remove these teachers. They don't need to be indoctrinating our children. We need people that's teaching our children things that will help them in life, not teach them how to hate their fellow humans.
That's exactly right. And remember how young they are. There's a reason why you can't rent a car really until you're the age of 25 without paying some sort of fee, is because your brain isn't fully developed. And when you're dealing with young people, especially under the age of 18, they're malleable. They listen and they pay attention far more than we realize. And you just cannot be in the game of indoctrination and brainwashing. And that's why the left wants to do it so much, because they know if you can get them young, you're going to have them thinking your way for the rest of your life. It's truly a sad situation.
Well, look, I don't care who you are, who you vote for. Cheering for someone's death crosses a line. You can call it free speech. That's a free fall. Teachers are supposed to educate, not instigate.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, Ford, you just think about it. If a teacher had posted about someone on the left, the outrage would have burned hotter than a California wildfire. But when it's a conservative, sadly, it's context and complexity.
The reason why that is because, we've seen this the last 10 years. Basically, Democrats and many in the mainstream media have dehumanized conservatives. I mean, you call someone Hitler, Nazi, the Klan long enough, then in the left's twisted mind, you can shoot people because the ends justify the means. And I think it was the CIS study. I'm just off the top of my head. They looked at the worst cases of political violence in the last 10 years. And it was something like, 25, 26 major cases. And of which you realize 18 or 19 were done by Democrats. The craziest is what happened in Minnesota when they killed the two Democratic lawmakers. It was another Democrat who did it, because they sided with the Republicans. And the Jewish governor in Pennsylvania, they firebombed his house. Trust me, it wasn't a Republican, because the other person was supporting Gaza. I mean, at what point is the left is so crazy that they'll put violence on their own just for breaking ranks and showing common sense?
Well, free speech protects you from jail, not from consequences. And I've said this several times. You want to act like an activist? That's fine, but don't do it from behind the chalkboard.
Well, that's exactly right. You have free speech against the government. That doesn't give you the right to hold a job. And particularly one as valuable as educating the next generation. I mean, I don't think a lot of teachers, I know they don't get paid enough. And I've said this over and over. I think we have way too many administrators in Lee County. But when it comes to teachers, they don't, they're underappreciated, but they also, in a lot of ways, are the evangelists for the next generation when it comes to being able to read and write and go to work. And I mean, I don't understand why we don't hold teachers in general to a higher position in our society. But at the same time, they're 95% lefties, and it's absolutely insane. And they just think that, how shall I say, their shit doesn't stink. And it does.
Well, and I agree. And before we move away from this school board deal, I want to say something. I talked to you last show about how they shut the camera off when we got up to speak. This now what they're doing forward, and I'm going to tell you this. Mark my words. Who advises both the school board and the Cape Coral City Council? Terry Miller. So they figured out that they got to play them cameras. They can't do what they done. So now if you watch a school board meeting or public comment at the city council meeting in Cape Coral, you'll see nothing but the backsides of the speakers. So that way you still don't see the emotion and the gravity coming out of these speakers. This is it happened quick. Right after we said about them shutting the camera down, next thing you know, they got you can't see the speakers at kept cool, and all you see is everybody's rear ends at the school board meeting. So I have talked to a few people. I do have a t-shirt shop. I can print up a bunch of stuff for backs of shirts if they want to play that game, and we'll just get it on. So, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. It seemed like they got a combined effort to mute us any way they can, Ford.
Well, it's by design. If you don't see the smoke, how do you know there's a fire? I mean, that's the entire point here. I got to say, it's pretty ingenious. It's also pretty malicious and evil at the same time. I mean, that's the entire point. It's like, oh, everything must be great. We're in Lee County. Republicans are running the world. I don't know how many Republicans we really have in Lee County, at least in elected office, but everything must be great. Then, lo and behold, we find out it's not so great. And the reason is because our elected officials have no backbone and won't do what's right.
I agree. Well, let's get ready to rumble, Ford. This week, the East Lee County GOP. It went from debate to what looked like a WWE SmackDown. It's embarrassing to me to know that adults cannot behave in public, but it would probably, when I'm telling you who was involved, you'll know at least why it happened with one part. Apparently, school board member Armor Persons and State House Representative Joshua Krakow nearly went to blows. Krakow told us, and I quote, Armor bucked up like his Oompa Loompa ass was going to punch me. Folks, I wish I was making that up. Now, apparently, Krakow had brought up in the meeting about the school board and this principal not protecting a child and witness protection over in Sanibel. We've discussed this before. The mother came and, Armor Person's wife decided to call bullshit on Joshua. And Joshua looked and said, what are you talking about? You're bullshit because it's happened. It's true. Well, then the argument, and Armor had to defend his bride and jumped up. And I know a couple people said they were there and said they were holding Armor back. Like, I don't know how much effort they had to have. But I did have one guy told me that Armor was actually trembling. He was so upset because he could not shut that kid up that he was trembling for it. And I would tell you, if I didn't make no other meetings this year, I wish I'd have made that one.
I always say this, Armor's just a local treasure. I mean, he's just the gift that keeps on giving. You haven't lived till you've gotten the stink eye from his wife. I've gotten it a few times. It's kind of amazing, to be totally honest with you. But, hey, they are the first family of Lee County, I guess.
Unbelievable. Well, the Republicans, we got to get our shit together for them. We can't be fighting each other out in public like middle schoolers at recess. We got to, the left's over here dismantling the country, and we're over here arguing on who gets the last public sub, it seems like. These guys are silly. And when you're looking at Armor Persons as a school board member, now he's up for vote, folks. I've said this before, and now I notice that several other people are using our saying, anybody but Armor is going around pretty hot and heavy right now. But Armor can't control himself in a public setting. Why do we have somebody like that watching over or having anything to do with our children?
Again, we've been talking about it for a long time, and I have nothing personally against Armor. I just think he's unfit for the job. It's not hard to understand what the problem is. But again, the cabal gets together. I mean, he's got a son-in-law as a county commissioner. He's got a daughter who's in the state house. I mean, at some point, nepotism only goes so far. And I don't understand why we keep doing the same thing over and over and electing these people, but we do.
Well, there's something to be said. Like you said, you don't have nothing personal against the man. My personal feelings is is I don't like the fact that they have so much power and they're not competent enough to do the jobs. And Armour was gifted that job, no matter what nobody says. He would have never had that job without his daughter's job as a representative and getting the governor to endorse him. He's not qualified for that job.
Well, that was my point. I've talked to him, in person. We've been at different events together, speak all the time. I always love it when he talks to me about the Florida Gators. My brother went to Florida, even though I'm a Hurricane fan. But, he's fine. He's just not built and meant for that job. I mean, I don't understand why we just keep giving people jobs that they're not meant for, like somehow it's a welfare program, the political cabal. But, they're screwing up Lee County. I just don't know how long it's going to take people to wake up and understand. But I think what happens is they basically threaten everybody. So everyone just kind of clams up and doesn't do the right thing.
Well, I want to talk about the new Millerites. We'll move on to talk about the new Millerites.
The next generation.
Next generation. One of them, I really want to talk about this Tony Bozier guy. Before I do that, I told you off the air, there's a gentleman running for mayor. His name's Ray Mule. And he was on that show with the Beach Leech, Ed Ryan, whatever. Yeah, he was on his show. And he made a statement that there's a lot of people that come to the meetings and complain and criticize, yet they don't run for office. They're substantially not doing anything but bitching. Look, that is pretty much word for word what Jason Jones and some of the others like to claim out there. But the fact is, you run for office. Our money pays you. You're getting a job that you're getting elected to. We've got a right to bitch, and if you don't like it, you shouldn't run for office. That don't mean, look, there's a lot of reasons why people won't run for office. Me personally, I can't put my family to it. I got young kids. But I'll fight side by side to protect our Florida with anybody. But Ford, this is just ridiculous. How can you sit there and try to target your constituents because they want to question why you're charging them for all this excess money that you're spending? It makes no sense to me why a candidate would even let that slip out of their mouth, but that's just me. And finally, our newest political hopeful, folks that's never attended a school board meeting in their life, but decided to run one. Tony Bozier. His campaign is managed by the illustrious Missy Lastra. So this is going to be interesting, Ford. I can't wait to see what happens here. Now, I want to say this. I haven't been looking. I talked to you about this before. I haven't been looking into these candidates because we all know that it's early in and a lot of people is going to fall out. I'd rather wait till we get to the pool where we know who's really going to be potentially able to win the seat. So I have not even looked into this Tony Bozier. And out of the blue, I get attacked by Javier Lastra, and he's throwing off on our show and things like that. And we haven't said the first word about Mr. Bozier. But I want Mr. Bozier to know that we will abide to Mr. Lastra's request, and we will look into you, and we will talk about you as many times as we can. So welcome to the show, Mr. Bozier. Let's get it going. So I don't know, Ford. It's just I'm all for new blood. Maybe show up once before you ask for the keys to the district, Ford.
I mean, you're just exercising common sense. And I think any one of these candidates that wants to come on and have a chat with us, I think that would be great. I mean, if everyone should get to know them, whether I agree with them or not. And I don't understand why Javier is attacking you or making references. I mean, I don't think we've ever spent more than 2 seconds talking about Javier.
Look, they attacked me when I spoke against Jennifer Nelson, and okay, that's his new sister-in-law. I didn't even speak about this guy. I haven't even brought him up, and they're attacking me about this guy. So it's kind of funny. Ford, we're down to about the end of this show. Let's recap, folks, what we went through. DC can't budget. Governors are grandstanding. Trump proves he's human. The No Kings protest proves they're spoiled. And local politics is just one bus ride away from a reality show. This has been the Cracker Culture Podcast. I am Smokin Joe with Ford O'Connell, reminding you, don't trust the spin, don't fear the truth, and never apologize for common sense. And we'll see you next time. Love, peace, and gator grease.